Christopher Cantwell, Mahal Mashigo, Dale Eaglesham, and Natasha Bustos continue their conspiracy against the mantle of Captain America, leading Steve and Sam to discover another young member of the Captain's Network, helping Nichelle Wright when the mysterious speedster Cap and the female assassin come for her like they did with Aaron Fisher. Christopher Cantwell continues his amazing introspective look at what Captain America is this issue by tackling the idea that most of the mainline Captain Americas don't really deal with the small things happening to people throughout the country. It's here Cantwell introduces us to Nichelle Wright, the Captain America of Harrisburg, who, like Isaiah Bradley before her, fights for the little people and against inequality, and in return is hunted for it. I quite like how each of these new characters have a cap that they like. It's not just all about Steve, and rightly so. It explores that there is a Captain America for everyone, no matter who they are. Cantwell also made it clear who is behind these attacks and who is trying to set up these Captain Americas, revealing it to be Sin, the daughter of Red Skull, along with the villain Speed Demon, who is masquerading as the Captain America who is fast. It's a great connection to a classic Cap villain, and I'm looking forward to learning what else she has in store for the heroes. Mahal Mashigo meanwhile tackles Nichelle's first solo story, exploring her drive to help her hometown and speak up about the terrible infrastructure, something which has affected many small towns in America and across the world, most of which are just forgotten about and left to die. So having a young character actually care about that and want to use the symbol of Captain America to do some good is a fantastic use of the mantle. Dale Eaglesham and Natasha Bustos both take on the artwork, with Dale again dealing with the main action in the mainline story, giving us some more fun action sequences, but the highlight was Bustos's backup story artwork, which had some fun paneling and action and gave us a great look at Nichelle in action. Her costume is also really great as well, and we get to see a lot more of it here, perfectly combining elements of Captain America with her gymnast pass as well as just casual streetwear. The United States of Captain America issue 2 was another fantastic installment in Christopher Cantwell's journey through America. I'm enjoying seeing Steve and Sam learn more about Captain's Network as well as more about the symbol these young heroes are standing for, giving them a new perspective on the shield and mantle. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. The United States of Captain America issue 2 heads to Gettysburg, where Steve remembers being a Cub Scout in 1928 and doing a tour of the battlefields there. Steve remembers being riveted by the history, but also remembers he had to pee, but there was nowhere to go and he was scared to interrupt the guide or bother his teacher. Soon he snuck off to take care of it, but finds it's a mistake to go into the wheat fields there, as the park ranger soon finds him, telling him this is hallowed ground and the latrines are elsewhere. Steve knows that almost peeing on Gettysburg isn't as funny as he probably thought it was, hoping he has paid back that debt. He remembers the damage they did to one another there on that battlefield, wondering if they really had came back from that at all. He soon hears a noise, knowing that's his signal, as he knows about the other Cap attack near Harrisburg, and a woman was arrested for busting up a new main line that was going to bring fresh water into the town. Cap meets with Sam, thinking that he wears the red, white and blue the best, but Sam knows that 2 caps are better than 1. Steve isn't so sure about that, as he is asked about the new shield he was bringing. Steve says that he brought it, but wonders if they could ditch the uniforms entirely thanks to this imposter stuff. Sam says that when they stop this, they're going to stop this as Captain America to remind those of what they really are about. They soon talk about Nichelle Wright, who has been charged with terrorism, yet she's dressed like Captain America, which Sam finds a bit ironic. Steve says that he's been charged with terrorism in the past as well, and he does feel a little weird that she's calling herself Captain America, making Sam wonder if he thinks that when he's not in the room, but Steve says he doesn't want to know what he thinks when he's not in the room. Sam knows that she's definitely got more in common with Aaron Fisher, wondering if she's part of this Captain's Network, something Steve knows is more than likely, and he wants to know what happened with her. Sam thinks that the assassin lady is trying to set these people up, but soon wonders how Steve even got his bike into the national park, since the park rangers wouldn't even let him this close. Steve says he's got an in with the park rangers, and he reminds Sam that he can't be hot rotting around since already people are suspicious of Captain America. Sam does a wheelie on his bike, wondering if this is what Steve meant, and Steve thanks him for the example. As they ride the road, Steve says that he wants to check on the pipeline Nichelle damaged and see what that was about. Sam wonders what happens when the local cops won't let them talk to her, so Steve says they might have to break a couple of rules. A few hours later, they arrive in Harrisburg, not realizing how bad it was as they survey the flooded streets. Sam knows that dozens will be homeless because of this, and people come by to see them, saying that they have had enough of all these stars and stripes crap. They also know that Nichelle had nothing to do with this, but another man says that she was the one causing all these problems. The woman says that Nichelle was the reason the water coming out of his tub was the right color, and she was the pride and joy of the community, since she does everything she can to help people. The two people continue to argue as Sam and Steve head into the flooded street. Steve knows that this had to be the Cap imposter, since the damage on the pipes is consistent with rapid hits from his shield. Steve asks about Sam's new shield, learning that Misty Knight made it for him. Sam asks about the shield Steve has, since he doesn't appear to have one, but Steve shows him the one Tony gave him, activating his hologram shield, which Sam says looks like a beer logo hanging on the wall of a bar. Steve thanks him for the self-confidence boost, as he says that he doesn't understand any of this, since the feds still want Aaron in relation to the train crash. Despite Steve vouching for him, they still think that he's involved, and now Nichelle has been charged with destroying the pipeline, and on top of it all, their Cap hunter still took a shot at Aaron, wanting him dead, but Nichelle was left alive to get arrested. Steve knows that whomever is behind this wants the country to hate anyone calling themselves Captain America. Suddenly, they are attacked by the speedster Cap, who says that that's the point and the hate will keep growing and growing. Steve thinks that it's brave for the villain to try and take them both on alone with only his fancy footwork, but the villain smashes Cap with his shield, thanking the hero for the great gift. Sam manages to take the weapon, saying that his mouth moves faster than the rest of him, but suddenly he is shot in the arm by the assassin woman, who tells him the next bullet severs his spinal cord. Steve's holo shield shorts out thanks to the water, something he thought Tony would have thought of, as he throws a piece of driftwood at the woman, causing her to fall into the water as he checks on Sam, who still wonders why these creeps are there 2 days later. The speedster gets the woman out of the area, wanting to focus on Nichelle instead, as Steve knows that they won't let her get away, but the police must have gotten to Nichelle first. Sam is patched up by the woman from before, who tells them to make sure nothing happens to Nichelle. Steve knows that they want to destroy Captain America, the people, the name, the symbol, and the entire dream. Later on at the police station, the heroes are told Nichelle is off limits, but the heroes tell the cop that the people who shot at them earlier are probably on their way to kill her. The cop says that they are welcome to file a report and they'll look into it ASAP, as the sheriff comes to see them, saying that he doesn't know what they did or who they did it to or why, but he doesn't care since the girl was a thorn in his side and never shut up about the water crisis and her protests, and now since finding out she's been dressing up and cracking skulls, they are done with her. Steve tries to tell the men that the thorn is trying to help, but the sheriff isn't interested in his excuses since she fits the profile. Sam knows what he means now, knowing that it's because she is black. The sheriff says that Sam said it and he didn't, so Sam grabs him, throwing him through the front doors of the building. Sam reminds Steve that they had to break some rules, and Steve knows it's better treatment they would have gotten than from the shield thief, telling the others to feel free to file a report. Nichelle meanwhile knows it sounds like the sheriff ran into some trouble, wanting the cop watching her to go and check it out as the heroes arrive. The cop hands the woman over to Steve, saying that he knew this wasn't right. Steve apologizes for what Sam did to his boss, but the man doesn't care since he's got a smart mouth and a lot of dumb ideas. Steve and Sam meet with Nichelle, who says she was told she couldn't have visitors. She knows it sounds like she won't get a fair trial as Steve rips the cell open. Nichelle confirms that she tussled with the other Captain America, telling them if it's cool with them, she's going to do this on her own, since she's got work to do, and that's how the captains work. They fight on the ground, not in the clouds. As they leave, Nichelle spots something outside, tackling the sheriff out of the way as a machine gun rips the building apart, operated by the assassin outside. Steve blocks the bullets with his shield, frustrating the woman as she stops firing on him. Steve confronts her, wondering if that's all she's got, but the woman refuses to make him into a martyr since nothing unifies people more than a martyr. Steve asks why these other captains are being targeted, and the woman says that it's his symbol and that will be broken, and these people are nobodies and no one will trust them since they are trash, tools that they are using to tarnish his name before she kills them. Steve says that Nichelle is coming with them safely as she activates a flamethrower, but Steve protects himself again with his shield as the woman and her speedster friend manage to escape. Steve tells Sam that the woman sounds German and they need to stop this now, but Nichelle doesn't want to be part of their team. Steve thought that she called herself Captain America, and Nichelle says that Isaiah Bradley said the same thing, but look how they treated him. She says that captains take the idea of them and make it real for the people that Captain America and Sam Wilson don't have time for, and that's what Isaiah Bradley did, and that's what she does. Sam says that they don't ignore anyone, but Nichelle understands since they have the Avengers and aliens and Baron Zemo to deal with, but these people have poisoned water, street crime, inequalities of every kind, as well as the more than occasional crooked cop. Steve asks what about the people out to murder her and the network, but Nichelle says the captains believe in Steve, but they can't go away from those they protect. She thanks them for the save, knowing that if they see Aaron again to say hi from her since he's a good kid. Steve knows that the woman has a point as the cops say the sheriff wants to talk with them, but Steve says that they are busy as they leave. Sam knows the heat will be on them now, no matter how true blue a cap they are. Steve thinks that this wild goose chase across the country will be educational and maybe they could use some schooling, as elsewhere, the assassin tells the speedster not to ever speak again while on assignment, since if the heroes figure out that he's really Speed Demon, the mission will be compromised. James knows that the woman is Sin, knowing that there is no harm in this. Sin says that she sees great things in baseball, activating Speed Demon's mind conditioning, causing the man to say that there will be no captain and there will be no America. So says Krieger Frau. The woman tells him not to call her that, wanting only to be called superior. Later on, Nichelle is made aware that she is now a wanted woman, wondering what happens now since she can't go home. She hides under a bridge as a cop car comes by looking for her, knowing that she's got to ditch her phone and keep moving. Heading through the streets, she soon hears a scream, finding someone robbing a local restaurant. She recognizes the people inside are Taylor and Charles, knowing they have graduated from harassing people at protests to armed robbery. Donning her mask and hood, Captain America gets to work, racing into the back kitchen of the building, knowing this is a very bad idea, knowing it's as bad as the sit-in she organized in the mayor's office, knowing always to bring extra water and snacks like she didn't then. She quiets the kitchen staff as at the restaurant, the men discuss not having a plan for this, with Taylor saying that they were just having fun and celebrating the capture of Nichelle, saying the town is a lot nicer with her not in it. Nichelle makes her presence known, kicking Charles down before using a saucepan to knock him out. Taylor shoots at her, hitting her in the arm, saying that his father lost his job because of her activism and he had nothing to do with the company poisoning the water supply. Charles tries to call the cops as Nichelle kicks Taylor in the stomach, demanding to know what innocents in the restaurant had to do with this. The cops arrive, but Nichelle takes off, throwing her shield over a large fence out the back of the restaurant and clambering over it, knowing she'll have to take care of her injured arm after she loses the cop following her. The cop says that she can't just attack a cop's son and get away with it, but Nichelle tells him to go and catch the real bad guys she left behind in the restaurant. But the officer says the people she saved are the ones that called them about her. As she escapes the cops, Nichelle is pulled into the alley by someone who takes her to a church, saying that they are meant to babysit the woman. Nichelle says that he scared her half to death, wanting to know who he is and where they are. The man says his name is Benjamin and they are in an abandoned church, so now it's time for her to answer his questions. She wonders where she's meant to go in her own town now, as Ben says they don't need vigilantes, they need her in the streets fighting for them like she used to. Nichelle says that she never stopped fighting since their work they did with the protests got them clean water. Ben wonders why then she is cosplaying, so Nichelle explains that when she was a college athlete, all she had to worry about was gymnastics and grades, and she kinda is doing the same thing here, since they organize a march and force lawmakers to do the right thing, but after hours they are unprotected and no one cares if they go missing or have things taken, and they cannot do the work and worry about their survival since no one is coming to save them. Soon Joan, Nichelle's big sister, comes to see her, knowing that she always knows where to find her, and the coach had her students keep an eye out for her. Nichelle soon meets her former gymnast coach, told that Ben has taken her place on her team. Nichelle tells her that this is not safe to be around her. The coach doesn't listen, wanting to take care of her, and besides, Joan has something she wants to show her. Nichelle says that she's serious about this, but Joan knows that they are as well, and that she doesn't have to do this alone. Nichelle says that she's not alone since she has the captain's network, and they take out the trash in places that people have forgotten about or are deemed too small to care about. Joan tells her to eat her food and watch the screen she sets up since she has something for her. Joan starts a video on people from around the town showing their support for Nichelle and what she is doing, offering to help her back in any way they can. Joan knows that they all have her back, so they want to find her a place to stay that night. Later that night, Aaron Fisher messages Nichelle telling her that some trouble is coming her way, so she suits up, leaving her safe house, knowing that she doesn't believe the fugitive hype since she's not going anywhere, and this is where she was born and this is where she'll be of service. And while there are no alien invasions or huge explosions, there is work to be done since she is a symbol in an ever-changing world, and she is creating a symbol for her America and her neighborhood.